Okay, so I'm going over ArrayList Worksheet 6. And so, first of all, you need to show your work when you're working with ArrayList, especially. So look at this. I'm saying, draw the array list and update it every time it changes, especially when the size changes. And so, add just adds a new element to the end, but then this replaces what was at spot 1 with this, so the CDE is gone. And then X, Y, Z, and 1, 2, 3 get added, so you have this. Now the sort method is going to sort the strings. You got to remember the way this works is numbers have the lowest ASCII code, so they come first, and then capital letters would actually be smaller than lowercase letters. That's not an issue here, but keep that in mind. Capital letters are smaller. So this is what it looks like after it's sorted. Then you remove what's at spot 2, and so what was at spot 2 was ABC, so it's gone. So this is what our array list looks like after the code runs. So when you print it, that's what you see. Now, when you're running this code, what I want you to appreciate is this is an array list of strings, obviously. So every time you call the get method, what are you going to get? A string object. And so here we get what's at spot 0, which is 1, 2, 3, and it just gets printed. And then this is going to call that string objects, the 1, 2, 3 string, is going to call its substring method and get the first letter, the first character, which is 1. And don't forget, if you put A or BC here, it's because you forgot that this got removed. Or actually, no, you forgot to sort it. Now, the next one, you're doing substring 1. That goes from spot 1 to the end, don't forget. You don't just get the element at spot 1. And so that's 2, 3. Once again, it's from spot 1 to the end of this string. Now we're on to the string at spot 1 in the array list. And so you got to keep that straight. The array list stores strings, and then the strings store characters. So anyway, that is the 7, 8, 9. You're searching for a 9. It finds it. Where's the 9? At spot 2 in that string. And then now we're on to the string at spot 2, which is X, Y, Z. And the character at spot 0 of X, Y, Z is the X. And then the length is 3. Of course, they're all length 3. All right, now, notice number 8, things transition. We're calling the index of method of the array list. And it turns out array lists have an index of method that works exactly the same as the string index of method. It does a linear search. It starts at the beginning and runs until it finds it and returns the spot where it found it, or -1 if it didn't find it. But it did find 7, 8, 9 at spot 1, so that's the answer. Array lists have a contains method, which does what you expect. It answers the question, does the array list contain this element or not? And ABC was removed, so that's why it's false. And then there's an isn't method, which, once again, is self-explanatory. It tells you whether it's empty or not, and it's not, so that would be false. Now, the next example, or going on from there, once again, this is what the array list looks like. We call the set method. Once again, set replaces whatever is at this spot with a new element. And here, let me show you something. So once again, if you search Java API and then the class you're trying to look for, it'll bring it up. Usually it's the first item that comes up. So here's the ArrayList class. And if you scroll down past the explanations, past the constructors, here's all the methods of the ArrayList class. And notice, by the way, as we said, there's 2 remove methods. One, we remove what's at a certain spot, and it returns the element that it removed. The other one, we tell it what to go remove, and it searches for it, and if it finds it, it removes it. And it returns true or false to indicate whether it removed it or not. Now, we were talking about the set method, so let me scroll down to that. Because let me go back. The set method, you know how to do. It's going to replace the thing at spot 1 with a new element, but it's inside of a print statement, which you might have thought was going to be an error, but it turns out the set method returns the old element that it replaced. So 7, 8, 9 is what's returned by that, and then of course the 7, 8, 9 got replaced. Notice there's escape characters here. That's not 4 backslashes. 2 backslash is a command to include a single backslash. So the string is actually just 2 backslashes. Then you call the remove method, and as I just said, when you move at a certain spot, it returns what got removed, which is actually the 2 backslashes that we just saw. And so when you print it, it's only size 2 now. And let me say again, if it wasn't telling you to print this every time, you should be doing that anyway, or like keeping track of what the array list looks like and not trying to just do this all in your head. Now we add 1, words get added to the end, so that's what the array list looks like after that. Now, I want to say again, the set method like overrides or replaces the add, this, and then there's this add method which adds to the end, but this one inserts the element. That's the difference between this add method and that set method. This one replaces, or this one inserts a new element. The other thing to remember is that the set method doesn't change the size. The array list was size 3. After the colon set method, it's still size 3. But the add method always increases the size. So this one increases the size and puts the new element at that new spot at the end. Where this one also increases the size. So it went from size 3 to size 4. And of course, it inserted the new element at spot 0. And everything else scooted over. Then we call the clear method. Well, that you can look it up, but it does what you'd expect. It empties it. Notice when you print an empty array or array list, you still get the brackets, and there wouldn't actually be any spaces in between them, but you get the brackets. Which means now when you call index of, it's not going to find it because it's empty, which means it returns -1. There's no error there. The array list doesn't contain that. And now, of course, this empty is true, and the size method is going to return 0. These, I want you to appreciate the fact that we still have an array list that we could add elements to. It just right now is an empty array list.